Hey, what's up guys, it's Hayden.
Hey, and I'm Emma, welcome back to our channel. Today we are going to be talking about Jordan Peele's latest horror installment called Nope. It's been labelled quite the spectacle of a film. If you want to hear our thoughts on this one, then stick around. We're going to be talking no spoilers for the beginning, but we will be diving into some later on in the video.
So Nope follows a brother and sister who are horse trainers in the film industry. One day they discover something wonderful and sinister in the clouds above and begin to uncover the mystery of this unidentified flying object. So look, it's in the trailers. This is an alien movie. Jordan Peele is putting his stamp on another kind of horror, sci-fi subgenre. And that's what I love about what he does. You know, he takes kind of like these horror subgenres and he likes to put his own spin on them. You know, that's what he did with Get Out. That's what he did with Us. And now he's doing it again with Nope. And that's what I love about him, you know. He's got such an original take on these things. He doesn't rely on the cliches, you know. He really tries to put his spin on it. And I think that's what he's done here. I love this movie. I thought it was fantastic.
I look forward to anything that Jordan Peele's name is on. As you said, he has just got such original and inspiring ideas for films. He's just, I don't know where he gets it from or how these ideas come to him, but just every movie he has punched out so far has just been so original and unique, and I've absolutely loved everything he has done. And I think Nope could maybe be my favourite one.
Whoa, okay.
I don't know. I mean, I love Get Out. Get Out is a film that I will continuously watch. I did enjoy Us. I didn't enjoy it as much as his first
It's
film.
definitely the weaker of his trilogy so far.
Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, I'm always a sucker for sci-fi and alien films. Yeah. So, I mean, the fact that it's sci-fi and horror, maybe that could be it. But I really enjoyed Nope. And I guess, yeah, we knew it was going to be a sci-fi going into it. But the trailer really didn't reveal too much. And so I really didn't know what to expect with this movie. And a lot of the time, you don't really know what to expect with his films because they are just so just out of this world and just like, who comes up with this stuff? Only he does.
Only he does.
So original. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed this movie. It was so different to any other sci-fi I've seen. But at the same time, it still had a lot of throwbacks to, you know, traditional sci-fi movies.
Steven Spielberg, Closing In as the Third Kind.
Yeah.
You can tell he was very inspired by that. Even the score was very Steven Spielberg, you know? It definitely had that kind of vibe to it, which really added a lot to the film and made it seem like an old school blockbuster, which I really love.
Yeah. And it was quite the blockbuster. I mean, it has been labelled, as we said, as a spectacle of a film, not just by Jordan Peele himself, but from many people, many reviewers who have seen this so far. It is such a big movie, especially alongside his other ones. This is his biggest movie in terms of its scale. Beautiful set that they had to work with.
Yep, the house, that whole ranch.
The ranch is gorgeous. The rolling mountains. But yeah, just taking on a sci-fi story. I mean, you've got to amp it up a bit, don't you?
Yeah, you do.
But I loved what they did with this movie, and I don't want to spoil too much just yet. But I think just the uniqueness of it, but also incorporating traditional sci-fi elements to it. You know, I feel like in his own way, he was paying homage to movies like Signs, do you think? Like, I kind of got a bit of Signs vibes from it.
Probably just paying homage to the alien invasion genre in general, I think. Yeah, I think he's just a fan of those movies, and you can definitely tell in this movie, you know, it's just got like his love for the genre written all over it. And he's just paying homage to all these little things. But yeah, Signs, Closing In as the Third Kind, you know, all of those movies that came before it. And yeah, it's taking that, it's taking what those movies did well, and then it's just adding that Jordan Peele spin to it.
And in traditional Jordan Peele fashion, this movie kind of makes you go, what the hell is going on for quite a big chunk of the movie at the start. Yep. Like, you are trying to work out, okay, where are they going with this story? What is happening? And I found that that's kind of his style. Like, he really likes to put a spin on things and make you think it's going one way, but then it suddenly goes this way and you're like, okay, now I'm confused. What are they doing with this story?
Because they're also telling the story of Stephen Yeun's character as well.
Yeah.
He's kind of like this child actor who's running this kind of a theme park and trying to benefit off what's going on. And so it's kind of telling both these stories at once, and how it all comes together is just really, really satisfying.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a really interesting way to do a story. You know, you've got your main characters over here on, you know, the main storyline, but then there is another character that we meet, and he's kind of got his own story going on too, and we get some flashbacks of his past, and we get a bit of his backstory, and it's kind of like, okay, what are they doing? Like, why do we need to care about this character at the moment? And it's just how he does his movies, but I love it. You know, he always keeps you guessing and, you know, engaged in what's happening. And
look, in true Jordan Peele fashion as well, it's got a little bit of social commentary mixed into it as well.
Yeah.
So it does have like a deeper message on, you know, kind of animal cruelty in the film industry and how we kind of profit off these things. And I did appreciate that. And it's not the kind of commentary that beats you over the head with its message, but it just kind of weaves its way through the entire story. And look, I like that. I know a lot of people don't like, you know, messages in movies or feel like there's an agenda at play. But I like movies that have something to say. I like, you know, movies that have a message and that are trying to, you know, tell us something about the world or about who we are as a society. So yeah, I don't mind that. And Jordan Peele does it in a very kind of subtle and effective way.
Yeah, he's very creative in how he delivers these hidden messages. Sometimes they're not so hidden. I mean, you know, especially with Get Out, there's a very obvious commentary on race in that movie. But I'd say in Nope, it's a little more subtle, as you said. Like, it's a little bit more subtle. And I feel like this is a movie I will also enjoy watching again and again. And I think the more I watch it, I think I will pick up on those little
subtleties,
nuances. Yeah, of where what his message was, whether that was whether it was his sole inspiration for the film, or maybe it was just something he wanted to include in it. But yeah, it was a very interesting, but yeah, kind of refreshing topic to talk about, because you don't really see too many films, you know, highlighting what actually is going on for the animals in filmmaking. So, you know, as animal activists ourselves, you know, it was really good to see.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially coming from a horror movie.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And look, I think before we move on to the spoiler section, we've got to give props to our two main actors, Daniel Kaluuya and Keke Palmer. I thought they were both fantastic. Keke Palmer was just like a ball of energy through this one.
Go, baby! Let's go!
I think she definitely added a lot of the comic relief and that positive, uplifting energy that this film needed. And then you got like Daniel Kaluuya, who is a bit more subtle in his acting, but it's kind of what he does in like the quieter moments and how he reacts and just those little things that he does, I find really good.
Yep.
I thought they were both fantastic.
They were both very strong actors. The whole cast actually was very good. And it was kind of nice to have that yin and yang kind of brother and sister relationship. You know, she is very bubbly and loud, and
they're complete opposites, aren't they?
They are, and he's very reserved. So they kind of balanced each other well and kind of, you know, complemented the story a bit. So yeah, really strong cast. I definitely think everyone should be seeing this movie, especially if you're fans of horror and sci-fi. It's definitely probably more I'd say it's more thriller than horror. It's like, it's got horror vibes, but I wouldn't say it was like scary as such.
I don't know, there was a couple of moments that kind of got under my skin.
True, yeah. Alright, look, just go see it. You'll have to make up your own mind.
But look, with that said, I think we need to move into the spoiler section. We've got a couple of things to talk about. So look, if you haven't seen the movie, go see it and then come back to hear our thoughts on the more spoiler-ific elements. But look, if you're sticking around, let's get into it. You have been warned. So look, what do you want to talk about first? I think there's a couple of really kind of interesting things to kind of flesh out.
All right, I think let's start at the beginning, because the way this movie opens is not what I was expecting at all for this movie. I mean, again, it's kind of hard to predict what Jordan Peele's movies are going to do. But being that we knew it was going to be a sci-fi movie, at least, I wasn't expecting it to open on the set of, you know, a TV show, a sitcom with a chimpanzee running around with blood on him, and we seeing, you know, what we think is a dead body on the ground. So that was kind of a shocking opening scene that took us aback a bit. We're like, oh shit, okay, what are we getting into here?
But then it's interesting because it doesn't touch on it for a while.
Yeah.
And then slowly it starts to kind of unravel, and we go back to that scene. And I've got to say, that scene with the chimp just going apeshit, pun intended, on the set of this sitcom, like that kind of got under my skin a little bit. That was like really heavy and disturbing. Like, I don't know what it was about it, but how it was shot, kind of like from like the Stephen Yeun's like child self, like that kid actor, like his perspective from under the table. I don't know, it just did something.
And you know what? It was really clever in how they shot it, because you didn't even actually see that much in a way.
No, it's
like,
what you didn't see, and the sounds.
Yeah. I mean, you don't actually see, I guess, the chimp like ripping any flesh off so much, but you definitely see the aftermath and, as you said, the sounds.
Great sound design. Whoever was in charge of sound design for that scene, hats off to you. Yeah.
It was so eerie. Like, I'm getting goosebumps now just like reminiscing on this scene. And I think just watching it from the kid's perspective too, like you kind of felt like, yeah, you were literally like his eyes watching this horrible moment unfold. And oh my goodness, when that chimp comes up to the screen, I'm seriously covered in goosebumps right now. Like,
when he kind of like breaks the fourth wall and looks at the camera,
and
it's
like,
just
and like you
so
just
tense.
hear the chimp's breathing, very intense.
Yeah, very well
And
executed.
I've never thought monkeys or chimps to be like scary animals.
Oh, I'm scared of them now.
I've definitely got my wits about them now. And you know, there have been documented cases where chimps have kind of just snapped and they have mauled people like dogs in a way. So I think that is why it is a bit more disturbing, because you know that this can happen. This particular story hasn't happened, but there's some very true stories, very similar. So I think that's what makes it a lot more unsettling, knowing that, yeah, this thing has kind of happened before.
And you know what? Just thinking about it, I think it works really well in this movie, because you've got like the UFO alien elements, which are a little bit more far-fetched and unbelievable. And then you've got like this really grounded, realistic horror with the chimp. That's why I think it's so effective, because it kind of contrasts so well with the more over-the-top alien kind of sci-fi horror. And so I just think it works for that reason as well.
But also the fact that it opened with this shot, it really got me starting to like think what the movie was going to be about in terms of like an alien invasion kind of story. Because I was like, okay, do aliens come and they like
Did they brainwash the chimp?
No, I was sort of going more to like, are they inhibiting the bodies of animals? Like, are animals going to be like taking over the world? I don't know.
Planet of the Apes, like spin on Planet of the Apes?
Yeah. So I don't know, it just kind of was a storyline that I wasn't expecting in a sci-fi film. It was such a realistic, story alongside this really fictional story.
And speaking of animals, I think we need to talk about the really big twist of this movie. And that is the UFO isn't really a UFO.
No.
Not as we know it anyway. It is a living, breathing thing.
It's
creature from another world.
It's not a spaceship that they're looking at.
It's actually like eating people and digesting them.
I know.
And then spitting them out in a rain of blood, which I think is probably one of my favorite scenes of this movie. That whole set piece with like the raining blood all over the house. I thought that was great, and a great little callback to stuff like, you know, like The Shining with like the elevator opening up and the blood flowing out. Just like little nods to other little horror. War of the Worlds.
That's why I really went to.
A lot of War of the World vibes. Another one of my favorite alien movies. Yeah, I think that was one of my favorite set pieces.
Very creepy,
and you just
unsettling.
hearing the screams of these people as it flies overhead. You don't see it a lot in those moments, but you just hear like the screams, and it's so unsettling.
Yeah.
So unsettling.
Because that's the thing with this creature, right? Is it's not like, you know, beaming people up and like that's it, they're eaten. They slowly get digested over what we assume days, maybe weeks, who knows. So they do just kind of like, what, are they just stuck in its
Guts.
like esophagus or something? Is that and just waiting to be
It's like
digested?
a flying sarlacc pit.
I know. It really is. So it's kind of horrific to think about, like, but a very cool kind of spin on, you know, a typical UFO story. Like,
I love that.
Because
No one's done that.
No
one's done that.
because it looks like a ship when you see it in the sky, and that's why they're like, oh, it's a UFO.
Yeah.
It looks like it. But then at the end of the movie, I don't know, it was really weird how it happened, but it kind of just like inverted itself and like morphed into its
Like a butterfly kind of thing.
Well, I don't know. It was a really unique shape.
Really unique design, yeah.
I have to say, I don't know if I really liked its final form. I feel like for me, like it was really cool, and I really liked that they kind of, I don't know, did something that we haven't really seen before in an alien, but I don't think I really liked the creature design. And I feel like it might be just for the fact it just looked a bit like a big kite or a big parachute to me.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like it was more ominous when it was the disc shape, and it was just kind of like this, I don't know, sluggy thing, just like sucking things up. And then it turned into this almost beautiful looking thing that just kind of floated like it was like a kite.
I think the idea behind it was meant to be like the grand finale, and they probably thought they needed to do something else with it. So I get that. And I've also heard kind of, I guess, theories that it was kind of revealing its true self to Daniel Kaluuya's character, because he kind of gained its respect. So yeah, I've heard theories on that as well. I get what you're saying though. Like, I don't know if I was the biggest fan of its final form, but I definitely get why they did that.
I just think I was expecting something a bit more menacing, I guess, especially for sort of like a horror film. But look, I still appreciate that he went something different, and a design that we hadn't seen before. But yeah, look, I definitely think I need to see this movie again.
Definitely
because
worth another watch.
I feel like there's some moments that I may have missed. Because I know it didn't really the story didn't really all click for me until we sort of digested it afterwards. And I was like, oh yeah. So I think...
There were so many pieces and that's the way they told it,
Yeah, so I definitely want to see it again and just see if, I don't know, my feelings change at all. But look, first impressions, it was a hell of a movie that I thoroughly enjoyed.
Yep.
I do just want to quickly also talk about the really creepy barn scene that we had when we thought we were getting, you know, the traditional aliens. That was so well shot and so well, I don't know, directed and thought out. It was so creepy. It was just everything. I think that scene in particular was sort of a throwback to like your Signs you know, which obviously it turned out just to be some kids in the alien masks, but we didn't know that at that point in the film. You know, we thought, oh my god, are we seeing the aliens already? They're here. Oh my gosh.
And you know what I love about that scene? It subverted our expectation, because from that moment we thought, okay, these are the aliens, and then it kind of made us think one thing, and then once it kind of obviously revealed itself, it just kind of completely subverted your expectation.
Threw you off a bit.
It kind of threw you off. And so this was kind of like, because Jordan Peele obviously knew that, okay, we're not actually going to see traditional aliens. So this is going to be his traditional alien scene.
Yeah.
So I kind of like that it kind of subverted expectation a little bit, made you think it was going to be one thing, and then kind of, you know, obviously was something completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it got me thinking like, oh, okay, well those aliens, they were really creepy.
Yeah.
Like I was like, oh, they're yucky. I don't want to was revealed that they were just kids in masks, I was like, okay, well, they were really creepy. So what are the actual aliens going to look like? So I guess in that sense, maybe that was also why I was a little bit disappointed with the final form of the actual alien, because I was like, well, I thought the kids' masks were creepier. But anyway.
And I love how Daniel Kaluuya's character just knocks one out, just punches one.
Welcome to Earth.
Poor kid. But my goodness, it was such a creepy, when it was in the shadows and it just does that creepy, slow stand up.
Yeah, some really effective horror in this one.
Yeah.
Definitely a few scenes that got under my skin. And I think more so than any other movie, this really kind of gave me a visual representation of that whole, looking into the sky and seeing something that you can't explain. That whole, kind of subconscious fear that we all have. We look to the skies and we think about if we're alone in the universe. Imagine doing that and actually seeing something.
Yeah.
I think this was probably the realist representation of what that could be like. Yeah. And kind of a visual representation of that unconscious fear that we all have.
Very true.
But look, with that said, I think we wrap this one up.
Yep.
So have you seen Nope? What did you think? Let us know in the comments below. And as always, do that YouTube stuff. Slam that like button if you like what we do. Hit the bell for the notifications to be notified of what we got coming up next. Subscribe to our channel to become part of the Headspace Films community. Most importantly of all, thank you guys so much for watching. And we'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.
See ya.